Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. This is Mitch Taebel. I'm the smartest man in America. I'm running for President of the United States. I'm here with Donna Kavanaugh on Radio Harbor Country Radio.
Hey. Well, good morning, everyone. Sorry about that. Hail to the chief. I was a little short on the music there, but welcome, everyone. We're glad to be here. A very historic show. After 16 years, there is something very special happening besides having you here in the studio. It is the 70th anniversary of the Queen being the Queen of England. But let's just play your music again, okay? Because this is all about you right now. And I would like to present our co-host here who is running for president. No kidding, he really is. There it is. Now we got it. Should get used to this music, Mitch. This is for you.
So my campaign slogan is liberty and pursuit of happiness for all, and I believe it is the best campaign slogan in history.
I agree with you. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us live in the studio. We are live Thursday morning right here on June 2nd. May I just make this quick announcement? I'm going to turn the whole show over to you, Mitch.
Yes.
So right here, WRHC is doing a bike and brunch on June 5th. That's Sunday, June 5th, the last day of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebration. But you should have a lot of fun. You can sign up online at radioharborcountry.org. I think there's still a few positions left. You bike, Mitch, all over Harbor Country, and then you end up at a farmhouse, I believe sponsored by one of our hosts, for a lovely brunch. It's great. You can bring the kids, bring your bicycle, and have a great time. And it's all a fundraiser for this station right here.
Great.
Take it away.
Well, everybody is invited to check out my social media. I've got Twitter. I have Instagram, I have Facebook, a page, a personal profile. I've got LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. Everybody's invited to check it out. It's getting better all the time. When I look at my social media, people tell me I don't know how you couldn't get elected.
There you go. Tell us why, again, that you decided that you wanted to run for president. What motivated you, and when did you start thinking about this?
Well, when I was young, I traveled all around the world. I went to Australia, Tahiti, New Zealand, and spent about a month in Mexico. And then freshman year of high school, I went to La Lumiere here in LaPorte. And so somewhere around that time, I've had it in my head that I would eventually be president or at least run. So, anyways, here it is. So now I'm running.
And you are of the right age because you have to be 35 to run for president, and there you are.
That's right.
So what I love about this, Mitch, is your campaign is youthful. It's not, we're seeing the primaries now, and I see commercials from Chicago on TV and all over. Our primary, I believe, in Michigan is in August. We just had one in Indiana in May, but it's all this tired rhetoric and hate commercials against each other, but you're like so positive. Tell us about that.
I see myself as a philosopher, and I think staying positive is just logically it makes sense. To be hyper negative is totally contrary to logic, totally unnecessary. I know a lot of people have a problem with that. I try not to. And I try to stay positive, and that's just the energy to run on.
Well, that's what I love about your campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, you're joining us on Kavanaugh Live in the studio Thursday morning, replaying Sunday night, the last night of the Queen's Jubilee. We're going to talk about that at the bottom of the hour, so you won't miss it. But, I love the breath of fresh air from your campaign, and I hope you are the wave of the future of politicians politicking for your age range, because I can't watch these commercials anymore. So-and-so is a hater, and he did this, and then he did that. And, you just want to run to the TV or turn off your phone. You don't want to listen to it anymore. So I really appreciate it. Now, you're going all around the country, but definitely in the area now. I think you were just up in Michigan not too long ago. And you tell people about what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I campaign. And, I was on the beach the other day. I walked a few miles on the beach and spoke to a number of people about my campaign. I campaign in Chicago. I do karaoke bars and stand up and tell everybody about the campaign.
That's what I love about you. You're youthful. Okay, you're going right where the people are. You're going to karaoke bars. You're going to clubs. Comedy clubs. I mean, it's just so different. I love that about your campaign. It's
a pretty pragmatic way to start off a campaign.
Yeah. And so, what kind of response do you get? I remember on Memorial Day weekend, we were up in Michigan, in New Buffalo, and you talked to somebody that I introduced you to that was my age. Now, I'm a baby boomer. And you said you were running for president, and I remember he laughed and said, "Why would you want to do that?" Now, that would not be my response. When I first met you, I was like, "Great, tell me all about it." So do you get very much of that? Because I think it wasn't against you. It's just that people are so fed up with politics. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I've got that response a few times, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's obviously a tremendous achievement and accomplishment, and it's an ultimate success in life to achieve that, and it's the best way to help the country and the world, obviously. So,
well, you said you traveled all around the world. Tell us one thing that you noticed that may influence your own campaign in a different country that you found maybe difficult or shocking. Is there anything that stands out in your mind when you were traveling in different countries?
I just think that a lot of countries have tremendous respect for the United States.
Okay.
And it was always like a great honor to be traveling in other countries and to be seen that way. And it made me feel, proud to be an American. And, it gave me more insights into, how an American is seen amongst the rest of the world. And that's something that not a lot of people, I don't know what percentage of the population, U.S. population, travels outside the country, but it definitely opened my eyes and gave me more insight to what it is to be an American.
I love that about you, that you have that attitude, because I know that sometimes people go overseas when they're traveling and they think they're better than everybody else and they give us a bad reputation. But we try to do good things for the world, but right now we're kind of getting slammed, and I want to play this for you and get your response. May I?
Okay.
All right, so this is something that happened. Oh, I guess I don't have it. Let's just talk about it then. There was another mass shooting. We know about the one at the grocery store in Buffalo, New York. Then there was another mass shooting at a little grade school, unbelievable, in Texas. And then just yesterday, and by the way, everybody, you're listening to Kavanaugh live Thursday morning on WRHC LP. Maybe we should do the ID, and we'll talk about that in a second. Can you read that?
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Become an underwriter by May 31st for your chance to win a $75 Terrace Room gift card. Yay. Reach a loyal, hyper-local audience and support nonprofit independent media with Radio Harbor Country underwriting plans. Start at just $2 per announcement. Underwriting provides your business with professionally produced 20 to 30-second radio spots that increase awareness and create a connection with your customers and community. Choose to support an individual show or join local businesses in supporting general programming. Go to our radioharborcountry.org to become an underwriter for a specific show or general programming. WRHCLP and WRHZLP are 100% community-supported radio.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for bringing that up, Mitch. We want you to be a sponsor here so that you can hear more of these shows about what's going on in your neighborhood with people that are your neighbors, like Mitch Taebel, who is just over the legal age to run for president at 35, and he's doing it his way. I love the way you do this. It's such a breath of fresh air. Now, you were in a business over Memorial Day, and you put something up on Facebook. And I saw that you were kind of bringing the crowd around you. And what were you doing?
You'll have to be more specific. What are you talking about?
Oh, you had you went to this restaurant and you wanted to maybe play some music. And then they told you, well, there's a band out in the back.
Are you talking about my dance moves?
There you go.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
I got some video from Sunday night.
Okay, and you were at a local restaurant and bar in New Buffalo, and you started the whole crowd dancing, I understand, and you put it on Facebook. I watched it. You know, we forget about just dancing. We've been doing the COVID dance for so long. I guess you with your magnetism, you got people up on the floor and they were dancing, right?
We had a good time. I found an outgoing girl there, and we started dancing and ballroom dancing, and yeah, there were like 20 or 30 people dancing by the end of the night. So,
ladies and gentlemen,
it's a good time.
He has the moves. Okay, so I'm sure when you get into the White House, there'll be a lot of that going on, Mitch. And
absolutely,
I totally believe at some point in your life we'll be talking to you about as the president. I really do. You're just so ambitious. Tell our audience about the book.
Okay, the book is it's a memoir. And it's also a political manifesto. It's got most of the book is actually law and history, but it covers my life as well. So,
and the name of it is
Looking Out for America.
And where can you find it?
So it's on Amazon.
Okay.
And it's also free on my website.
Oh wow, thank you. And tell us your website again.
It's just my name, MitchTaebel.com.
And Taebel is spelled Taebel.
You got it.
Right. Okay. Now, a couple of quick things. Should I go on with some of these?
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, this is something that people have been watching all over the world because it came out of Fairfax, Virginia, in the courthouse live on television. And I'll tell you, there were a lot of people on YouTube that have TV shows that on YouTube that were talking about it, and it just caught the attention of people worldwide. And that is the trial of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. And they just came to a conclusion after 3 weeks of gruesome testimony. Here on Kavanaugh Live, I have to say, you may never want to get married after you saw that. I mean, it was just horrible what these two did to each other. But Johnny Depp was given an award of $15,000. Capped in Virginia, he can get, $15 million. In Virginia, it's capped at $10 million for damages of her against him, and then she got $2 million for something that his lawyer said that was not well perceived by the jury, and they gave her $2 million. But obviously, Johnny Depp kind of won the trial, which was. Did you see any of it?
I only a little bit, not too much.
Yeah, it was terrible. I was glued to it. I mean, you know. I got tired. I pray for these people that were in mass shootings. It's horrible, but I don't know. What was worse? Let's hear about this, shall we?
We found Johnny Depp and Amber Heard were both defamed, but there is no question who the panel sided with.
Amber Heard was not a good witness, and juries react to that.
Women's rights attorney Nancy Erica Smith calls the verdict reasoned. And while a defeat for one woman, she says it is not a defeat for all women.
Some say this verdict marks the end of the Me Too movement. Do you agree? Not at all. I think that Me Too is here to stay. I don't think women should be afraid that we have to tolerate the harassment and abuse we've tolerated for centuries.
Depp and Heard are two privileged celebrities with high-powered legal and PR teams, unlike most cases involving accusations of domestic abuse.
Is there anything typical about this case? no, there's nothing typical about this case, thank God. And this is not your typical sexual harassment case where you have incredible disparities of power. Amber Heard is not somebody without agency, power, and money.
But Heard is someone who said she was a victim of abuse, and experts say that will still resonate with those of lesser means.
I'm not certain that it will stop someone from seeking support or safety. I am certain that it will give them one more thing to think about before they speak up.
The idea that you could face a defamation lawsuit for just sharing your own experience in public is a huge infringement upon survivors' right to free speech, and that's my primary concern about this case.
Okay, any thoughts about what you just heard?
No, I actually haven't followed the case at all, so I can't really comment.
So I think a lot of people were worried that because she was really maligned on social media, she said on when she was in the trial that she was getting death threats and people were horrible to her. They definitely around the world were favoring Johnny Depp. You know, he's a very beloved star, but he had terrible drinking problems and drug problems, and they were going at each other all the time, got divorced. I think it's tough, whatever you're accused of, Mitch, and I've been accused of things I didn't do, and I'm sure you have, everybody listening has. It's so frustrating because you know that you're being scandalized, but when you have to air it in court like they did.
Yeah, it sounded pretty ugly. What I did hear about it.
Really awful.
Just a few minutes of it, yeah.
And, you know, Kevin Spacey just got dragged back into court in London. 4 men have accused him of sexual abuse. I think, who is it, the black actor, Cosby, he has to go back to court now because he's been charged with another sexual abuse case. I mean, it's just, people, you've got to be careful out there, okay? Think before you do, because especially if you have a prominent place in society, things happen. Sometimes you get misjudged, sometimes you're naughty, and, you know, you just have to know that it can really be hard on you, your family, and everybody else. We all make mistakes, but this trial was just, well, unbelievable. So we'll just see. I'm sure Amber Heard is going to appeal, and then we'll have to be dragged through some more of it. But, yeah, so that's what was happening last week. I wanted to play this for you. I don't know if you have anybody in your family that's had cancer or any of your friends. Mitch?
I know a few people who have had cancer, yeah.
Well, there's allegedly a breakthrough. Something happened with a woman that volunteered on a study for pancreatic cancer. It was spreading to her liver, to her body. They gave her like 6 months to live. And listen to this. People, if you've been dealing with cancer or you have it in your family, you owe it to yourself to hear this. It could be very, very exciting news. We'll see.
In early 2018, Kathy Wilkes faced a grim prognosis, stage 3 pancreatic cancer. She didn't know how long she had to live.
I think it was still just shock.
Her treatment was grueling. 8 rounds of chemotherapy, surgery, radiation.
It was a lot of nausea, very tired, a lot of just not wanting to get out of bed.
But nothing worked, and by the next year, the cancer had spread to her lungs. But Kathy's health made a remarkable turnaround after she received a groundbreaking experimental treatment in Portland, led by Dr. Ron Leidner.
This is potentially a one-and-done treatment.
Dr. Leidner's treatment is currently the only known effective therapy for metastatic pancreatic cancer, the deadliest of all cancers. It works by harvesting the patient's T cells through a blood draw and genetically modifying them to attack the cancer, then reintroducing those cells to the body. It's known as a living drug, meaning after a single infusion, the cells should remain in the body and repopulate, so even if the cancer comes back, the cells would still be there to fight it. For Kathy, the results were astounding. In less than a month, her tumors had shrunk by 62%.
Now, listen to this. In less than a month with this treatment, Mitch, her tumors shrunk, and it keeps going. Let's just hear the last part of this. Is a cure, ladies and gentlemen, here on Kavanaugh Live with Mitch Taebel and me, Donna Kavanaugh, that is in trials. But listen to this. Wow.
It was like,
what do? You just stand there with your mouth open because you're just so awestruck.
And after 6 months, down 72%. Her cancer is now stabilized. While just one patient, it represents a major breakthrough in the fight against cancer. And Dr. Leidner says it could be effective in treating other forms as well, including colon, lung, prostate, and breast cancer.
This is the first one. It proves it can happen. That's the first big step.
It's still years away from being widely available, but for many, it represents hope, especially to Kathy. She celebrates her 72nd birthday next month.
After all of this is that I've made it another year.
And embracing many more to come.
Well, this is really a breakthrough, and I'm very excited about it. I've told my audience, Mitch, that I was in shock a year and a half ago when I was diagnosed with a very mysterious form of breast cancer, and I fought it for over a year. I was just cleared by Mayo Clinic saying that I'm okay, but you're running for president, Mitch Taebel, here on Kavanaugh Live. I remember when our current president, Joe, Biden, was claiming all sorts of things when he was in the primary and after he became inaugurated as president. Do you remember this, Mitch? His son died of brain cancer. And he told the world and people in the United States, I'm going to cure cancer. We're going to have a cure for cancer. Well, I haven't heard a word about it, Mitch. Do you remember hearing that?
I do not.
Yeah. So what do you think about those kind of claims? I mean...
yeah, those are big claims to make, but I think a lot of people feel that we have to be on the verge of curing cancer. It's got to be close. So it sounds like we're getting there.
I think
closer.
so.
Yeah.
I hope so, yeah. And there's also... Do you know anybody that has Alzheimer's?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is also a breakthrough. Ladies and gentlemen, here on Kavanaugh Live, Mitch... you know what TED Talks are, right? Have you heard about those?
I do.
So they come out of a big, almost month-long seminar down in, I think it's Austin, Texas, somewhere around there. And they bring in people from all over the world that are experts in their field. They had a woman, you can see it right now on YouTube, Mitch. Mm-hmm. Go to TED Talks and type in Alzheimer's cures. This woman, ladies and gentlemen, I brought in my cousin. She lives with me. She has advanced Alzheimer's, and it's getting worse. This woman had it in her family. She found out that, and she's like some kind of scientist, that coconut oil, the kind that you can go right into your health food store and buy, just regular oil in a bottle that's from coconuts, she was giving 7 teaspoons of coconut oil to her mother every day. And she started to see that her mom was having better thinking. And then her mom was starting to communicate because she hadn't been talking for a while. So then this woman upped the 7 teaspoons a day to twice a day. Her mom was getting a lot better. Her mom, who had full-blown Alzheimer's. So then this woman said she upped it to 7 teaspoons of coconut oil 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She said her mom's walking, talking, her mom's dancing, would love to dance with you, Mitch, and things are much better. So we're going to keep an eye on this because if you have somebody in your family that has Alzheimer's, go out to the health food store. I'm going to do it. It's worth a shot. Get coconut oil from the health food store because it's natural, right? And 7 teaspoons a day. Start out with that. Up it to twice a day if you see progress. And if your family member or whoever it is getting better, try 7 teaspoons a day 3 times a week. Got to kind of work up to that. 3 times a day. Work up to that. This could be a great breakthrough. Wouldn't that just be amazing if that's what started to cure it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Unbelievable. Well, Mitch, we are in the creature time period where, as we were coming into the studio, did you notice there was some roadkill on the road?
Yeah, I had to avoid 1 or 2 on the way here.
Yeah. So yesterday, in my basement, where the laundry room is, I went down to do the laundry, and this is what I heard. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. What does that sound like to you?
Is that a possum? I don't know.
I don't know either. It was very loud, and it seemed to be coming out of my water heater, not the water itself, but there's like a big silver tube that's connected to the ceiling and the water heater. It seemed to be in there. I don't know whether it was little baby raccoons or little baby squirrels.
Maybe.
So I looked it up on the internet, and it said it's pretty common that can happen. They go in there in the winter to stay warm and birth their babies, and then once the spring comes and they're getting bigger, they'll leave. But they said, if you hear this, ladies and gentlemen, in your water heater, immediately call a professional because that can really do a lot of damage. So I didn't hear it this morning. So I think, Mitch, when it got to 90 degrees, they got out of there. But it was a little shocking. I don't know. You never know where they're going to turn up. So please, ladies and gentlemen, watch out. You know, all the baby ducklings are out there, the little baby, squirrels.
I'd like to talk about my YouTube channel a little bit here.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
When I say that I have strong social media, mostly I'm talking about the photos and the content on the YouTube channel.
Yes.
I don't have nearly as many followers and subscribers as I'd like to have, but I'm getting more all the time. So I just published a video that was a media coverage keyword search, and so I found out. I called the news stations and asked them how do I get copies of the broadcast that I was in.
Oh, cool!
And they told me I need to contact a third-party agency, and they collect all media coverage across the country.
Really?
Yeah, and you can just run any keyword you want to search for whatever I've been in. So I asked them to run my name to see how many broadcasts there were, and the results were I got a count of 64 broadcasts across the country. Have you not seen this video yet?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I don't think I've seen. Is that the one that you were telling us about last week, or is this a new one?
Well, it's a few weeks old. I'm not sure when I let's see here. Yeah, no, it was a few weeks ago. But so, anyways, there were 60. It said 64 individual broadcasts across the country.
Wow!
And I think there were 4 national broadcasts in this collection in the results we got. But it was actually missing like the majority of broadcasts that I already knew that I had.
Yeah.
And so it was actually missing a whole lot of broadcasts. So the story count of 64 broadcasts was, it could be many times more than that. I don't know how many more. But if the majority of broadcasts that I knew of are not in those results, that would indicate that, it could be at least twice as many. It could be probably a lot more than twice. But anyways,
great.
So I don't know how many broadcasts there were regarding my press statement and the kidnapping in Arizona, but there were quite a few. It was all over local stations around the country, and then there were a number of national broadcasts, and it said I was on ABC a few times, and then there were 2 different broadcasts for CNN, and then I knew about a third broadcast on CNN that was not on that list
that you were in.
Yeah. Regarding me, the news coverage, yeah. And
well, can I interrupt just for a minute? Because a lot of people maybe that didn't listen last week don't know what you're talking about. So you were coming home from college where you were studying filmmaking, right, in Arizona?
So yeah, I was enrolled at Arizona State University studying film and media production.
And it was the springtime, right?
It was the spring, and I was simultaneously filing a number of lawsuits for.
Well, hold on. So you decided to come back to our area in Harbor Country. Your mother said, "Why don't you come home, son, and be with us for a while?" So you were on your way to the airport. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, that's correct.
And suddenly you, as everybody out there knows here on Kavanaugh Live, when you see those police lights behind you, it's very nerve-wracking. Suddenly you saw a policeman trying to pull you over. Go ahead, tell the story.
So I decided to make the lawsuits I was filing a priority, and I was actually going to, get on a plane and fly back out here. and focus on the suits that had been filing. So as I was getting ready to go to the airport, I noticed that my political film, Logic, interviewing the inauguration protesters for the basis of their opinions, which was won an award from the Los Angeles Film Awards.
Wow.
And I think it was under 10 minutes long, but I mean, it was a pretty epic film because it was something that I don't know why no one else in the Republican Party didn't come up with it or do that already, because basically what I did was there were like hundreds of thousands of protesters when Donald Trump was inaugurated.
Yes.
And I lived in downtown Los Angeles at the time. And so I had seen the protesters before, and then I heard that there was going to be another march or protest. And when I heard there was going to be another protest, I decided I should go out and interview the protesters and see why they're compelled to be out there protesting. So I mean, the film kind of showed that their opinions were they didn't really know much about the politics. They didn't know that much about the policy.
They just didn't want Trump in there, right?
They just didn't want Trump in there. But but a lot of their opinions, from anybody, is like a conservative or a Republican would probably just, think that their opinions were just mere opinions and based on trivial issues. And so it was a very compelling film. Because I think it really discredited the protesters against, the president.
So you produced it? Did you shoot it also and edit it, and then it won an award?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So
And
you were now going back.
So this film was very powerful and everything, and it was taken down from my YouTube channel is what happened.
Really?
And somebody hacked in. It wasn't just changed from public to private. It was actually deleted from my YouTube channel. And the next thing I know, an officer's trying to pull me over illegally, and I'm driving perfectly, and that's why I didn't want to stop.
You're going to the airport to come visit us here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I chose not to stop because I had just been reading all this law about, the right to resist an unlawful arrest, etc. And it's and the right. The bigger deal is it's about the right to refuse an unconstitutional order, which is something that is extremely important that everybody should know about and support 100%. And this is why I tell everyone that I'm a hero. And the mere fact that I refuse an unconstitutional order is in support of the Constitution. It's in support of justice. It's truly was a heroic act. To do that, and I did so, peacefully, calmly, civilly, didn't endanger anybody in any way, and until I was assaulted by police, acting like maniacs, just crashing into me and throwing spike strips in the street, and
because you refused to pull over because you didn't feel like you did anything wrong, and so they kept at you, and then they really came at you.
Yeah, well, they basically act like insane animals is what happened. Total maniacs.
Yeah. So for the police out there that we respect, there are some bad apples every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, what this police department didn't realize is you're very, very smart, and you are really up on the Constitution and the legalities of things. And you actually, the book that you wrote, tell us the name of it again here on Kavanaugh Live.
Yeah, Looking Out for America.
It's brilliant. When you read it, there's so much research in there about all of these laws and how you can protect yourself and what you did when they threw you in jail, right?
Yeah. So it was, it was a peaceful civil protest, a non-dangerous, victimless protest is what it was. Mm-hmm. Just simply, not stopping, driving down the road, and spike strips are deadly force at speeds, at highway speeds. They're deadly force. Yeah, and there was a case law in 2000 or an incident in 2008. The case law is in 2010. It's U.S. Pineda-Doval, 9th Circuit, 2010, and in that case, a vehicle was driving about 45 miles an hour, and the vehicle flipped and rolled when it hit a spike strip.
Oh.
And a number of people went to the hospital. 10 people died from, one spike strip, and the vehicle was moving 45 miles an hour.
Wow, yeah.
So that's why, they're obviously deadly force after that at highway speeds of 75 miles an hour.
And now, may I point out to our listening audience here with Kavanaugh Live, Donna Kavanaugh and Mitch Taebel, who's running for president, and wrote this book about this crazy experience he was subjected to. That was daytime when you were driving to the airport.
Yeah, it was like 10 a.m. in the morning. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so they put you in jail, and you were asking to speak to the TV cameras and to the...
Well, I called the media from the highway.
Oh, you did. Smart.
And I wanted them to know that, what was going on. I wanted them to know that I wanted to talk to them and everything. So they were at the police station, and... so as we were going into the police station, there were already cameras and media there recording and asking questions. And then the following morning, I made a press statement that was almost 15 minutes long. And, and that, brought a lot of attention to the police pursuit. So it was a 60-mile police pursuit, which is pretty big deal. The O.J. Simpson pursuit was also 60 miles. And, that pursuit got 95 million viewers. And I don't know if that's what, according to CNN, what I found online. And then his trial got 150 million viewers. So if you were somebody who's being kidnapped, if you're being kidnapped, I mean, at that point, it makes sense to do something like that because you obviously want to bring a lot of attention. You want the media, you want everyone to know what's going on. You don't want to be kidnapped and then they, nobody knows what's going on or pays any attention to it, and you're being prosecuted and there's nothing you can do.
That must have been terrifying.
Your lawyers are selling out your case, and the due process is a complete joke, and you've been kidnapped and nobody knows about it, and it's the end of the world for you.
Smart. So that was so smart.
So as I put on my website, being detained is worse than death. I put it on my website. I said, it's 1 billion times worse than death, but. That may be I don't know. But, just to make a point, being detained is much worse than death, especially if it's, for the rest of your life or for many years.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty bad. So I was in there for over 3 years, and it was really bad.
They imprisoned you for 3 years while you were fighting this?
Yeah, people
goodness.
die all the time in jail. They get assaulted and killed, and usually by inmates. Sometimes people get poisoned, or they wind up somehow mysteriously hanging themselves in jail. I mean, stuff happens all the time. But jail is just a very dangerous place, and they let people out all the time, guilty as can be. Yeah. And overwhelming evidence of guilt, and they release them on bail. And then, me, a college graduate and award-winning political filmmaker, I don't get released on bail.
Oh, my goodness.
Totally unconstitutional, totally criminal, illegal, totally a kidnapping. And if it wasn't already enough compelling evidence that it was a kidnapping already, the fact that they didn't release me on bail proves that it was definitely a kidnapping. And the whole, part of the reason you have a right to release on bail, it's in the 8th Amendment, excessive bail shall not be required. That clearly implies the right to release on a reasonable bail. And just the right to release is what it implies. And you have a right to gather evidence, to contact friends and family, to, get legal counsel, to...
Did they let you do any of that?
Well, you can't do any of that from jail. It's very difficult to do anything. You can't get on the internet. You can't gather evidence. You can't make your social media, your Facebook public, because the media and the public everyone's looking at they're Googling you. They're trying to figure out what in the world is going on, and they're only getting a fraction of the story because idiots have you illegally detained and kidnapped in jail at like a circus, and nobody knows what's going on because
Mitch,
you're detained.
Tell us how this turned out. Are you still fighting in this lawsuit? Or what a horrible thing that happened to you. And, people get pulled over by the police for very good reasons. But sometimes, you get pulled over by some bad apples that are out to get you, and the fact that you wouldn't pull over, I'm sure, made them absolutely livid. And I can see why they were going after you like that, which was very unfortunate for you.
Apparently. I mean, you can see it from the way they responded.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, and hence out of that experience came this book, and now you're running for truth, justice, and the American way. I can understand that completely.
An illegal arrest has to be opposed like 100%. That's one of the reasons why there's a right to resist an unlawful arrest. And why, if you're arrested illegally, the charges have to be dismissed, etc. The law just has to oppose an illegal arrest or a kidnapping 100%.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of law enforcement have no respect for, and they want to pretend like that right does not even exist, is basically what happened. And they did it on TV, too. I mean... The media in no way did the media support the right to resist an illegal arrest or an unconstitutional order. No way did I ever hear the media support either of those, which is basically like, the ultimate, it's like life or death of importance for the public to understand how important these things are, that there is a right to resist refuse an unconstitutional order or to resist an unlawful arrest. It's like the entire law and principle of the country, everything would just flip upside down and be completely meaningless and worthless if those rights didn't exist. That's how important that is.
I agree with you, and what a horrible, terrifying situation to go through as a young man. But good things came out of it. In a sense, you wrote this book, which, ladies and gentlemen, you can get it on Amazon. Tell me the name of it again, Mitch.
Looking Out for America.
It's brilliant. And he has documented what he just told you about here on Kavanaugh Live. I mean, I can't even imagine having to go through that and survive it and be so quick thinking that you call the media from your car. The only thing I can relate to is once I was going out of Las Vegas, having been in a convention there in the middle of the day, Mitch, and we flew on United Airlines, which I'll never fly again, because we're out about 20 minutes from Las Vegas on a beautiful sunny afternoon, and suddenly I heard blah, 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 blah. And I was on the window because I love to fly, and I saw this big metal thing go flying. It looked like a metal snake out from the side of the plane, and the plane was vibrating, and people started crying and screaming and praying, and all of a sudden the captain said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a slight problem you might have noticed," and people are like, "Oh, what are we going to die?" He said, "We've decided this is your captain. We're going to turn around and go back to the airport in Las Vegas." So we're flying back, and it's getting louder and louder and louder, and people are just going crazy. And I remember thinking, well, Lord, I hope that my fiance didn't get the postcard I wrote him after we crashed. We got to the airport as we're landing. We did make a landing. There were 15 police cars and fire trucks. They had foamed the runway. He cut the engine. He didn't want something had happened to the engine. The fuselage, something or other, disappeared, and that's what I saw. Anyway, what happened? We got back they towed us back to the gate, and for about 2 hours, I could look out to the plane that was parked there, and you could see men in suits and men in like workmen, mechanics, arguing over the plane, pointing to the back of the plane, the front of the plane, and all of a sudden the flight attendants got on the microphone and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to board again." And I'm like, "No, we're not. We're not getting on that plane again." So I called the media in Las Vegas, and they came out. And because of that, I can relate to your story. And the media covered it. They put us on another plane. But you know what I found out? The people coming behind us that were going to fly an hour later, they knew nothing about this. And they got on that plane. And I hope it didn't crash. That's all I can say. But, yeah, I mean, you have to stand up for yourself. And you did that beautifully under it must have been terrifying situation.
I had a stepbrother who was a police officer.
Okay.
A detective. And he was a bully. And when I got old enough and big enough, I'd put on boxing gloves and beat the shit out of him if I had to.
Beep. We're going to watch that language. But yeah. So, well, I mean, we respect our police officers and what they do. They're first responders, everybody. But every once in a while, you get somebody that's not really fit for police work, I think. And then, you have to fight back. Now, we have about 10 minutes left. And, okay, do you want to wrap up your segment? And I think the Queen has something to say to you, okay? She's going to be coming on
Okay,
our
I'll
show
talk
right
about
here.
another YouTube production here.
Okay.
I put together a media coverage press statement compilation.
Yes.
And it's about 17 minutes long. And it's got some of the best media coverage that I could find. And it's got a few sections that talk about the violation of the policy, that the unlawful conduct by the police in violation of their policy. Their policy stated that they shouldn't be engaged in like a high speed pursuit over a traffic violation is part of the policy there. So essentially the Arizona Department of Public Safety pursuit policy, there's a link to it on my website, says that they shouldn't have even been following me at all.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. How about that?
Bingo.
So not only are they not supposed to be using deadly force spike strips that endanger, me, themselves, and everyone else on the road, or crashing into my car, which escalates the slow speed, non-dangerous, victimless civil protest of a police pursuit, which escalates it. So they shouldn't have did any of that. They shouldn't have been following me at all.
So we can find all this on your YouTube site, which is Mitch Taebel, Taebel for president. And also you can get his book, Standing Up for America. That's right. And you can get that on Amazon. The paperback is only like $7.95. I think the hardcover is like $14.95. It's really worth reading just to educate yourself on the law and the Constitution and this very brilliant young man.
Looking out for America.
Thank you. Mitch, we're going to, in the last few minutes we have left.
Okay. I was just going to play something here real
please,
fast.
Go ahead.
So anyways, it was, I think, ABC News that talked about the violation of pursuit policy.
Wow.
Most of the media coverage was...
Sided with you.
Well, some of it did, but I think most of the media coverage did a terrible job at actually evaluating the importance of what was going on. They didn't discuss the law. I mean, it just makes sense that the media would look at policy. They would say, here, this is what it says. We're going to highlight this right here. We're going to highlight that. Now, we're going to read it for everybody, and then we're going to play the video footage and say,
That's too much depth for them,
is that too much depth for the media?
Yeah.
Okay,
so.
And they should be doing the same thing with Supreme Court of the United States law.
Oh, thank you.
But I think like 90% of the media coverage, just they didn't touch on any of that. They did a terrible, terrible job at covering this.
That's why nobody watches it anymore. And
it was just really discredits the media. I mean, it was just a dumbed down version of what they should be doing.
Thank God you wrote that book, Standing Up for America, that you can get on Amazon. And we're going to switch gears here just for a minute. Okay, and we're running out of time. But, ladies and gentlemen, here on Kavanaugh Live, I'm honored to have Mitch Taebel in the House. He is running for president. He is out there in his youthful capacity at 35 years old, turning the switch also on how to do politics. I mean, we got so much negative politicking. It's really a breath of fresh air having you here, Mitch. But this is a historic show for me, too, because the Queen and I are turning 70. I hate to admit it, always 19 in your head, but this week, starting this morning, I was watching it on YouTube. It was the color guard all over London in front of the Queen and all of her family and subjects. Very exciting. So this is her Platinum Jubilee, 70 years as Queen, and it's really quite exciting. It'll be today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, with Sunday wrapping up as a really great concert for all of us to watch. So let's just have a little music, shall we? I think this kind of says it all. All right, yes, Queen. That was quick because we're kind of running out of time. But Mitch, this is very exciting. I just want to play this. Everybody should be watching this if you get a chance, either on your phone or on your TV, whatever it is that it takes for you to see this really historic event. Now, she became queen when her father died unexpectedly before World War II really broke out. I mean, she's been through all sorts of things with the country, the world, and her family, and I think that she deserves a little watch today and tomorrow through Sunday. Here is something about it. Let's play that.
Circumstance will be on full display in London tomorrow for the kickoff of Queen Elizabeth's historic Platinum Jubilee. Sarah Simmons is there tonight.
We all get nervous the night before a party. So imagine being the Queen tonight. For 70 years, since her coronation, she's had one role, and the UK has had one Queen. Tomorrow, outside Buckingham Palace,
Starting
a
today.
front row seat to history.
I'm 70 years old, sleeping on the cobbles in London.
The Queen may be too frail to attend many events, like tomorrow's traditional military parade, Trooping the Colour.
1,500 troops, 350 horses, and most of them have never done this before. This pageantry is the envy of the world. How do they get it so right? They rehearse and rehearse and rehearse.
Rehearsals have been going on for weeks, including for one special dog, Seamus.
Are you excited to meet the Queen?
The Irish Guards' regimental mascot.
The secret for you guys is rehearsal, 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 right?
Yeah,
and that's true for the dog too?
It's the exact same for the dog. He needs to know what he's doing.
Like all our families, there are inevitably tensions when the royal family gathers. Harry and Meghan reportedly arrive today.
Uh-oh.
But for the next few days, Queen and country will come together. And children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, with smiles and happy hearts, and the quiet acknowledgement that as a beloved relative gets older, time is precious.
Okay, people all over the world are camping out to see the Queen, okay? And she is just magnificent. I hope that you all watch it. I'm very excited. I've decorated my house. I'm going to continue because me and the Queen, she wraps up June 5th. June 6th is my birthday, Mitch. And I'm going to hit the big 7-0. Hard to believe. So I just have to say to all of you, I think it's really important. Please try to watch some of it. I mean, it's just an amazing event, and I think it's definitely worth, listening.
Happy early birthday to you.
Oh, thank you.
Your reign and how Her Majesty has maintained a close relationship with the United States for decades.
Yes.
If the Atlantic unites, not divides us, ours is a partnership, always to be reckoned with in the defense of freedom and the spread of prosperity.
You know, there's I think it's on Netflix, Mitch. It's called The Crown, and it goes through the whole, it's a dramatic show, but actors portray the Queen and Prince Philip and everybody else, and it shows you exactly what she went through, what she's been going through, and it's really quite remarkable. So I know there's been a lot of craziness with the royals, but I'll tell you what, she's, to me, she's one in a million. Queen, happy 70th. And I'm going to celebrate in my house on June 6th, D-Day. You know, when I was a little girl, Mitch, I thought D-Day meant Donna Day. And it wasn't until I was 40 and took my father to Paris and then a train down to Normandy Beach, and I saw it for myself what D-Day was really all about. So lots of celebrating going on. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget the Bike and Brunch on Sunday, June 5th. RadioHarborCountry.org. You can get tickets. It's going to be a great event. Bring your bicycle, bring your kids, your friends. Sign up. It's very inexpensive, considering that you get a beautiful brunch at the end of the ride through beautiful harbor country. I understand, Mitch, the weather is supposed to be pretty good all weekend long, so that's a good sign. What do you think?
Great. It's a beautiful Thursday morning here.
Yes, it is. Live in the studio. We have about 2 minutes left. Mitch, go ahead.
Here, I'll just play the intro for my media coverage compilation.
Taebel. Taebel.
Mitchell Taebel, who...
Mitchell Taebel.
Mitchell Taebel is
Mitch Taebel.
Mitchell Timothy Taebel.
No way.
Mitchell Taebel.
Yeah.
Now, Mitchell Taebel, he's an actor and model who lives here in Los Angeles. Now, Taebel says he's studying film at a local college there in Arizona. Taebel is maintaining his innocence tonight, saying there was no probable cause to arrest him.
I'll just stop there.
You know, that's so embarrassing for somebody that's been in the media on television. For years, I was pitch hitting for people in various TV shows around the country, and I would never do something like that. They can't even get your pronunciation right, and if they can't, they keep repeating themselves.
It's titled "The Kidnapping of Mitch Taebel."
Okay, we all want to watch.
So it's a documentary. Yeah, everybody should check this out.
Absolutely, and it's
I got the idea from a George Lucas documentary.
Oh, great! See,
it's a comedy style documentary, but I just had to use it because I thought that was just too cool when I saw his.
I can't wait to look at this. It's
and
on your YouTube
I had more than
site.
enough media coverage to do it. That's only a small fraction of the media coverage.
Well, we have a media star here, producer, director, actor, and also somebody who's running for president in a new way, which I really applaud because, goodness, we don't need any more negative campaigning, which we're going to get a lot of as we go forward. So we have about, we have about 5 minutes left.
I tell everybody I'm totally famous, but, not the way I intended to be.
Well, bad things happen to good people, and the good news is you made something. You took the lemons and you made lemonade out of it. You took something that had to have been horribly frightening. You thought on your feet in your car while you were going through it. Then after all those years in prison, you wrote this incredible book, and now you're continuing your pursuit of, the real
Pursuit of happiness.
Well, yeah, and also looking out for America. Your book on Amazon,
and entertainment career.
That's right, and I think people are going to hear a lot more about Mitch Taebel. We're very happy to have you here on Kavanaugh Live, and just remember, the Queen is celebrating her Platinum Jubilee, which means 70 years as Queen, and please take a little time to read up about her if you don't know. Her father, who she was very close to, she was on a holiday over in France right before the war really kicked in, World War II, and he died. And she was suddenly called to duty as a young woman. I think she was like 20 years old, something like that. And what she went through, I mean, just having to be queen during World War II when they were bombing, England and London, it's unbelievable. So please celebrate with her.
I'm still looking for a talent agent, a good powerhouse talent agent in Los Angeles. Okay. And I'm more talented and more famous than a lot of the people, probably half the people they represent.
That they sign up. Yes, absolutely.
This shouldn't be an issue for me, so hopefully they'll be calling me back soon.
Well,
I've talked to a few of their assistants on the phone, and the conversation went well, but they haven't called me back yet. So
got to keep knocking on that door, and we do have some listeners over in LA. So if you heard this, give Mitch a call, and you can find him on his YouTube site as well, Mitch Taebel. I can pronounce it, Taebel.
You got it.
And I'm very proud to have you on the show. Now we're kind of running out of time. We have a few minutes left. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the platinum anniversary of Queen Elizabeth, who is my buddy. She's always on our show usually. Not today, though. She's really busy celebrating her platinum jubilee, and I'll be celebrating my platinum birthday, and we're all going to have a lot of fun this weekend doing it, okay? So, hoist a little... A little schnapps or maybe some English tea.
Oh, I just want to throw in there. As I said last time, I was a prom king nominee, but I also dated 2 prom queens and a Playboy model. Oh, okay. So I was pretty popular, and it wasn't because I was rich. They just liked me.
See, I think you're a chick magnet because when you look at
this is why I think I should be getting elected and get the nomination.
Yes, and you look at his YouTube site, and there's women just hanging all over you. So I can understand.
I have a campaign album on my Facebook. Okay. Everybody's invited to check that out. Campaign photo album.
Okay, all right, very good. And ladies and gentlemen, he's very handsome. He's very fit, and he's very single. Okay, I'm just telling you. So if you want to get to know him, give him a shout out. And you can find him, Mitch Taebel,
well, not very.
Taebel. Well, yeah. And I'm sure he'd like to meet you.
But single.
Yes, he is single. All right. Okay. Well, we want to just wrap this up. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. And, you know, in the Queen's honor, I just think I have to play this song for her Platinum Jubilee. And she's, very well known around the world for the wonderful things that she's done despite her crazy family. We all have crazy people in our family, don't we? I mean, it happens. So, Mitch, thank you for joining us.
All right, everybody enjoy the summer.
Oh, yeah, it's summer. And
great to be here. See you next time.
Absolutely, and come back anytime. Once again, the Bike and Brunch is this Sunday, June 5th. Sign up on radioharborcountry.org. It's a fundraiser for our station.
And don't forget to check out my YouTube channel.
Thank you very much. Mitch Taebel, Taebel. And the Queen is celebrating her platinum along with me. Tune in today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday for a lot of fun, wonderful events coming live from London. We replay the show Sunday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 to 7 Central Time. Queen Elizabeth, you're on.